Beautiful Jennifer Liss. You are one of those women that you require your first and last name in every reference to. So I only know you as Jennifer Liss, the whole package. But thank you for coming back on the podcast. It's very fun when we have repeat visitors. I almost said repeat offenders, but repeat visitors that are sharing their wisdom. But it's also so beautiful to track evolution in these bold, beautiful ways. So thank you for being here.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited to be here. We're only repeat offenders when it comes to us attacking a wine and cheese board together. That's it.
That is correct, ma'am. That is correct. All over the world.
It's
We've
true.
attacked quite a few of those and never in the same destination twice.
It's true. Wendy, this is wild. And we're not going to spend this entire podcast interview, I promise
Talking
everybody,
about
talking
cheese,
about cheese.
but we
But I
could.
just saw Beecher's mac and cheese in the grocery store yesterday. And I was like, of course, right before I have a conversation with Wendy, I would see
That's right.
Beecher's mac and
My
cheese.
work here is done. And that is just a nod to the law of attraction,
It's true.
right? Because do you not associate Beecher's mac and cheese with Wendy Harrop and Wendy Harrop with Beecher's mac and cheese? So
Yep. Through and through.
Of course. And some people it's champagne, and some people it's Paris that reminds them of me, or a peony, or whatever. But I love that these markers that remind people of me are all fabulous yeses.
They're all fabulous in all of those things, though, Wendy. When I see them, I think of you. So, yes,
Isn't that great?
yes, yes, yes.
I think that means that I have a stellar marketing team that is me.
It's true.
We call that alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. Okay, enough about me. Not enough about cheese ever. But how are you saying yes to yourself in this season? Because
You know,
before you
go
answer
ahead.
that, I've known you to be about 4 or 5 different women since the last time you were on this podcast. And it takes one to know one because I have also been 4 or 5 upgraded versions of myself since our last conversation on the podcast. So I'm so excited to hear about your yes.
Yes, there's been so many different personal yeses. And in fact, one that just happened last week. So we're always evolving. And you're one of those people in my life who has been the constant yes to that. And so I think it's so important to all of us as women to surround ourselves with other people who are saying the kinds of yeses that you want to say to yourself. And I see you as one of those people. And I know that every single person who listens to your podcast sees you as one of those people too, because you 100% are. You commented on one of my social media posts yesterday and you said, I love this. And I said, I only do what delights me,
That's right.
which I
It,
learned from a certain somebody.
and it works, right?
It
That
works.
that mantra, it's not stupid to only be available for what delights you. It's actually the fuel in your tank to do the things that you are here to do, that you decided to do, that you created, that you are the co-creator with the universe of what is happening next. And you don't know what that is. The Amber Lillystrom says the yes unlocks the how. And that is what is required to move into the woman that we're becoming and to move into this life that we say that we want. Right? Like people
Yes.
can watch us. They can watch you in St. Martin. They can watch me in France. And that does bring a level of enjoyment. That brings God, people will tell me, I love watching you when you're there. It's so great. Like, I would love you watching you there. I would love you saying yes to yourself. I'm so glad that there's a feeling of empowerment and camaraderie in watching each other rise. But if we're not also rising in our own way, it doesn't feel good.
You know, it's 100% not look at me, come with me. And yet at the
Yes.
same time, it is very cool to know that simply by living your best life, somebody else could be inspired
Yeah.
to live their best life. Just that's all it takes. And that has been a huge part of my journey. And if you're into human design, I'm a generator. And that's really what we're meant to do is simply just keep living your best life. And so Wendy, it's really wild that I am where I am right now. And I'm going to tell you why,
I
because the
can't
last time
wait.
that I saw you in person, I was in a very different scenario in terms of my life and in terms of my marriage. So, what had happened earlier, the last time that I saw you, when we saw each other in Edinburgh,
Yep.
I had my marriage was on the rocks. Like my husband was struggling with alcohol addiction. He and I had been separated. We were separated, but living in the same house. Well, I had come home one day from a retreat having this glorious, amazing experience. And I came home to what was not what I would consider a glorious and amazing experience, something that did not delight me,
Hmm.
that I had been previously making myself available for.
Yeah.
And in that moment, there was just enough. And I know that every woman has this, there's just enough rub where I had come from something magical and I came into this and I said, no more. I'm
Hmm.
not doing this anymore. I am no longer available for this. And I said, one of us has to move out. Like I'm not living in this anymore. This is not going to be my reality of choice.
Hmm.
And so I called his brother and I said, "Are you available to house your brother because we're not going to live together anymore." The next day, I suddenly had this realization, "Oh my gosh, he doesn't have to move out. I can just go travel the world," which is something that Wendy I had wanted to do forever. It's why I left my hair career many years ago. I said, I want to be untethered. That's been the name of my podcast for years. I want to be untethered so that I can travel, so I can go do the things that I want to do. And so, y'all, I untethered myself and I just, within 2 weeks, that decision was made. Within 2 weeks, I was in Europe by
Right?
myself
As one
traveling
does.
around Europe. Yes. So that was my decision. Well, at the end of that, I knew I had this retreat in St. Martin. So I knew that I was going to end this little cycle with the retreat in St. Martin. Somewhere in between there, my husband had the biggest energetic shift of his life.
It's so beautiful.
I can't even explain the way in which me saying my full body hell yes to my most magnificent experience. I mean, I'm going to tell you the hardest thing that I experienced while I was in Europe was I almost said not even the wine hangover, but I never even had one. I was having such a good time and I don't even drink that much, but I always get a headache from wine. But when I had wine with you guys, I didn't get a headache the whole time, which is
That's
wild.
right.
But the
It's
hardest thing
magic.
was right.
Hmm.
It's magic when you drink
Yep.
wine with Wendy Harrop.
That's true. No hangover.
But my hardest thing was that I felt guilty about having such a good time,
Yeah.
just traversing the world by myself. That was the
Mhm.
hardest thing, was me dealing with my own guilt over this is so magnificent. I am
Yeah.
having the best time. But in there, and I could feel it. Like we can feel when another human has an energetic shift. In
Mhm.
we weren't conversing that much, but I could tell that something had shifted in him. And I said, Joey, meet me in St. Martin. Like, let's go on neutral ground and let's talk this out. Like, let's
Yeah.
see what is going to be our next step. I have no idea what that is. And he said, I don't know either. We don't know if we're ending this thing. We don't know if we're going to continue. We meet in St. Martin. We end up reconciling. And here's the wild thing: our marriage is completely different. We are two completely different people. This all has transpired in months' time.
Right.
We are completely different people. And right now, Wendy, we are living I have goosebumps from my toes
I
to
do
my
too.
fingertips. We are living my dream of what I wanted him and I to do so many years ago. We are right now in the mountains of Oregon. We have spent a week here, him and I, just coming and traveling here and being here together. We still have our place that we're living in Oregon, but in Portland, but we're here and we're traveling and we're really thinking of doing this. Maybe we might try it full time or we might try it part time where we just go with our dog and we go and live in different places, which is something I've wanted to do. But we're doing it literally. You and I are on this call. I'm sitting in this beautiful effing home staring at the mountains out the window right now. and having this glorious, luscious experience because I said yes. I said a big no. That was a
Mhm.
huge yes
That's
for
right.
me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. First, I love you. Second, my face hurts from smiling so big. I'm so delighted. I'm so delighted. I was delighted and proud of you that you were in Edinburgh. I was delighted and proud of you that you said yes to yourself to this expansive invitation and made it even bigger and also pivotal for your marriage because I invited you to join me in Edinburgh for Abraham Hicks. And your first response was, "Ugh, that's a really long flight." And I said, "Not in the front of the plane, it's not. It's almost too short. You can only watch 4 movies. It's kind of sad." And you, it was so fun for you to respond with a really comical, I love you, low vibe answer as if you didn't know who you were talking to or who you were yourself in that moment. Like, I'm sorry, what did we do? What's happening right now? And I don't know if that conversation was before your retreat. I'm assuming that it was because you then decided to meet us in Edinburgh, but you also were in Europe for a while doing these pet sitting gigs and as a part of this separation. So, all of these things that we're conversing, that the catalyst for your big decision came on the other side of a pattern interrupt of that retreat, which is the first wonderful thing that happens when we say yes to ourselves and we go somewhere else and have an experience that we desire, that delights us, that opens us up to things we didn't even know about, good, bad, and otherwise. Different, not bad, different. And then you came back with clearer vision and required a change that invited your husband to make a decision. But I love also, just in reflecting back all of this to you, you also gave yourself the gift of another pattern interrupt by you not being the person that stayed in the house. Like you let your energy expand, your vessel expand in these new areas. And you also let yourself enjoy it, tempered with guilt, and not see him as the reason. His absence wasn't the reason you enjoyed it. His absence was actually kind of dimming the enjoyment. Like you wanted a fuller experience because he is your partner, but there were requirements for that as well.
Right. I would rather do it alone than do it with this version of him.
That's
You know,
right.
that version of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he chose to step into a different version in the period of that. What you said about it didn't, I got that text from you. And I want to say this for anybody who's listening. This really is, again, the power of having people in your life who will hold you to your highest and best. And
Mm-hmm.
the true import of that, having somebody in your life because you were like, that was an interesting response. I was like, it's such a long flight. And you're like, excuse me, first class, Jen. Like, it doesn't have to be miserable. You're the one who's making yourself available for misery and responding with this low vibe answer.
And it was
That,
hilarious because you were facilitating a group, a mentorship group called business class.
yes,
Like, I was like,
yes,
what? That's what I was like.
yes.
I think I said the F word. Like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, oh my gosh.
It's so true. And there's ways in which we hold ourselves back with these silly things. But
Yeah.
here's what that revealed to me. I remember thinking, oh, that's so interesting, because I had just heard something about victim mentality and I'd never considered myself a victim.
Mhm.
I'd never considered that that was a place that I was putting myself in. I've always thought of myself as very powerful human being, very powerful woman. For years I've been co-creating and really sitting in that seat. But that response from you allowed me the space to see what a victim I was making myself in a scenario that I previously would not have seen myself as making myself the victim.
Mhm.
Right. It's like, oh, well, the flight is so long and I have to sit in the back and it's like cramped and like that. Most people would not see that as a victim mentality, but it is. It
Mhm.
is. And so I got that. And then I went to this retreat and it stewed. And then when I walked in the door, I was like, oh my gosh, I have made myself a victim of this circumstance. I am
Mhm.
standing for this. And that, therefore, and so it was just this wow, wham light bulb that turned on for me. And did I buy myself a first class ticket? Yes. That was the best experience of my life, was like laying back in that seat and
It's hard to go
sleeping.
back, Queen. It is hard to go back, let me tell you. I mean, I hear it's hard. I haven't gone back yet, but
Right. So yeah, there's so much to, and I say this, and I've been having a lot of conversations with women about this recently, where it's like there is this very sneaky victimhood, and it shows up in our lives in these ways that we don't see it as what it is. We don't see it for what it is, and it's a little bit hard to look at. It's kind of painful.
it's a lot hard to look at. In fact, I'm even just to call myself out because these are the kinds of conversations that we have when even when we're not recording. I feel guilty about what am I even what do I feel guilty about? I don't know if guilt's the right word. So I'm going to say I have some resistance about being a white woman talking to another white woman sitting in
Mm.
my big, fabulous house, living my big, fabulous life, talking about flying first class and how ridiculous it is to even consider sitting in the back of the plane. And I know that and it doesn't even feel good to say all those words, which is why we can edit this out if we decide to, but energetically, my response to you, that was queen to queen. Like I was sitting at my desk where I do my morning practice when I was having that conversation with you, and I know that I was in my aligned full power energy when I invited you to have a different perspective about your seat on the plane. And you have to call me out on all of those things as well. I want that always. And because I know what it feels like to be you and I and to have this friendship with you, I know that I can talk to you that way and you can talk to me that way. But having other people listen and I don't know who they are, and I feel like, oh, maybe I should tell you like 47 hours of things so that you get on board so that when you hear this one sentence, you're not going to be triggered by, uh. So I'm saying all of that to say, isn't it fascinating? Isn't it
Isn't it
fascinating?
fascinating? I think what's really powerful right now is that I would want that experience that I had for every woman on the planet. Like
Yeah.
every single woman on the planet to have that experience. And yet, like we do have that trigger for a reason. I think triggers are good because it's revealing something to us in many ways. There is the realization that, wow, this is not currently available to every woman on the planet. But then what I would think, and what I'm just thinking right now, as you're saying this, and you're so open and beautiful and honest about this, is what good does it do to take
Yeah.
ourselves down from that a notch? Like what genuine good is
None.
done from from that, which is often as women what we do is we
Mm-hmm.
shrink it
Mm-hmm.
back and
Mm-hmm.
we feel like, oh, I can't go stand in that, when really what would what is it that would actually create space for more women to do it, is to stand in that and
Right.
to recognize the trigger, and to
Yeah.
also simultaneously recognize this is not available to every woman. So when I am in the position of making that available for other women, how can I do that? Like,
That's
what
right.
are the things that I can do? So, but unfortunately, like our instinct is to like feel guilty and shrink back, right?
Hmm.
And so then we don't do anybody any favors for that.
Right. Right. Thank you for that. Received. And it's fascinating that why in the world would shrinking be my default
Mm.
on my own platform, on my own schedule, in my own experience that I created for myself? Every trip that I took in 2025, I sat in the front of the plane and I went a lot of places. And I'm really proud of myself for being that woman. And I'm really proud of myself for the woman that I am becoming. And I'm, like you said earlier, it's not look at me, it's come with me. And I don't know if it's a part of I'm also a generator. Like it is this living our life, it is this modeling, it is, I'm going to go first for two reasons. I'm going to go first because I want to show people what's possible. And I'm going to go first because I want to go. And I want to
Yeah.
go in the front of the plane. Like that's how I want to do it. So, in this acceptance of my own light, of my own what's available for me, because I am the co creator with the universe of my experience. So I am deciding that that's what's available for me. And that feels good and powerful. And I think there's probably some, I don't want to say consequence, but I think that something happens when a woman stands in her power that there's never a crowd on the edge, I guess is what I'm saying. So this is not a popularity contest, but sometimes I forget that.
Mm.
And it's a decision that I'm going to continue to make and continue to call women into their truth. They don't have to do it the way that I do it. I just want them to do it the way that their inner being is calling them.
I have a hypothesis, Wendy, that I've been
Please
working
tell
with quite a
me.
bit lately. And it's that well, we'll start with what you just said. There's two reasons. There's because I want it for somebody else, and there's because I want it for me. I believe that as women in particular, as humans on this planet, but in women in particular, because we have such a challenge with always putting somebody else first, which then puts us into codependency, which then gets all kinds of
Mhm.
weird and guilt and resentment and all
Which
of the
is what's
things,
happening
right?
right here, right now. Yes.
Yes, it needs to be flipped.
Yeah.
Your experience matters first. And I know that you know
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
Your experience matters first, and then it's the next person's.
Hmm.
And so here's my hypothesis that I'm working with. So I'm working specifically these days with women on sales because I've
Hmm.
been in the business world for a long time. I myself have worked so much through so many of my own resistance to sales and to creating income with my business that I'm like, it is my moral obligation to impart this on other women. I believe that it is us feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling like we can't fully claim our desires and our own experience first that actually creates such resistance to income, to money, to all of the luscious experiences that we want. It all starts with us first. And this really, for me, the story that I shared about me going and doing and having this very visceral experience of me going and living my best life created so many positive changes for other people in my life. other human beings in my life had positive change because I said, this is what I freaking want. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to go do it. And I think the same is true for every single one of us. Like, this is what I freaking want. And
Mhm.
so I'm going to do it. And when we do that, the positive ripples that happen from that, because that's so pure. Your desire is so pure, and your desire is your actual divine instruction.
Mhm.
It is pure. But we think that it's impure. And so it's all of those thoughts that we get to work through. But when you just go do what you want to do, knowing that in turn is that number two thing, that in turn is what's best for everybody else too, everything changes. And so if
Mhm.
all of us, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, right? But
Right.
if
No, we're
all of us
all
could
saying
live
yes
from
to
that,
ourselves in big and small ways.
yeah, I mean, that's what your entire podcast is about. It's how
Mhm.
you've been living your life. And you so bravely and boldly are having these honest conversations all the time on your podcast and with everybody in your life, holding everybody to our highest and best and holding everybody to our aligned yeses. Like that, the positive ripples that you're creating by you being you and having these conversations is huge. It's huge.
Thank you. I received that. It is, you know what I said about there's never a crowd on the edge. It's interesting. And my comment about a popularity contest, it's so
Mm-hmm.
fascinating because I think what's happening, and we talked about this a little bit before we hit record, about completing with things. We had Rachel Jackson on the podcast just last week who talked about how your energy is out before the thing actually ends, and how that can be, at least for me, and maybe it's my generator as well, because we go the distance. But sometimes, because I'm a generator and I'm a woman, I may go past the distance because I'm wanting people to have every chance they need to have the experience that we were all hoping for in the beginning or whatever it is. And I think what is happening in real time for me is my habits have not caught up with my mindset. So, like, my evolved highest and best self knows that everything is always working out for me. So, yay, I know that. The idea that smaller, deeper connections and experiences are what I'm being called into has me feeling um and misaligned responsibility to everybody who's not ready yet to step into this next version of me. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's the, um who wrote that book, The Third Door? Um
Alex Benayan, right?
yes, thank you. Like talking about there's one way to get into the club. The second door is if you're on a list. The third door is these people that have found another way to get the thing that they wanted. And finding the third door is not the challenge, it's getting out of the line. And I've gotten out of the line, and I think I thought I only had to do that once. But I'm in this process of this up level. This 2025 was a year of completion in numerology. We know that 2026 is a 1 year. So we're in this new building. And I think that I was really excited about the completing part because I thought they were all my choices. And new beginnings are new.
Yeah.
Right?
New beginnings are new. There can definitely be some fear to that too. There's something that feels so good about checking off the boxes and completing. And now it's like blank page, both
Yeah.
exciting and terrifying. So what's next? I am curious, Wendy, what is next for you? Can I ask a question on your own
Oh my
podcast?
gosh, of course you can. What's next is yes. It's yes after yes after yes, and not tampering down the yes to be more palatable for a stranger
Yeah.
or a former intimate, right? Like
What
there's
does that open
this,
up? What does that open up for you when
yeah,
you
you're so
aren't
good.
holding for that?
Oh, a chateau in France. And it's like, okay, yes, the chateau found me years ago, and then someone bought it and another house found me. And then I held that in my vibration for not as long. And I completed with that. And in each of these ideas of wanting more, I love big houses and I want a lot of them. That's just what I want. And in hearing other people are like, oh my gosh, everyone wants, you can't heat it. Like, okay, or you can, like, whatever, it's fine. But it's this, I've been putting more things into my vortex of what I want in this property. And most recently, a beautiful property has come into my awareness and it checks all the boxes and it's beautiful and I want it and I there's some missing pieces to get me from where I am now to where I want to be. And my reasonable side of me, which is really, it's not even a side, it's like, it's a very small sliver that says that's what I should be focusing on is the gap. And I don't want to focus on the gap. Like, that's what I want to complete with. I want to know that I want more. And then when I get that thing, I'm going to want more. And it's not because I'm not satisfied, it's because I'm a creator.
I love this so much. Can I tell you mine? Because I think
Of
this is helpful
course.
to hear people's. I was just telling Joey on our walk this morning. I said, I'm not figuring out the how of how it
Nope.
gets here. And I'm completely untethered from this actually being the thing that happens. I know that this is the experience. And so I
Exactly.
align my process in the morning. I align to certain feelings. I align
Yep.
to certain sensations and I physically bring them into my body. And what physically brings the feelings of wow, of wonder, of excitement, of really intimate connection with a lot of people for me right now is I'm going to host Jimmy Fallon's show. That's it.
Awesome.
Like I'm hosting it. For a
Oh
while, it
my
was I'm sitting in
gosh,
the
you're
seat and
so good at that.
him
I
and I are
see
having a
it.
conversation. Like that was it. Thank you for
I
seeing that
see
for me.
it.
It was like me sitting there and having a conversation with him, me being invited and sitting in the chair for years. That's been my thing.
Yeah.
It has guided me to emceeing things. It has
Mhm.
guided me to my podcast. It has guided me to lots of really cool things, facilitating group programs with lots of people. You know, that feeling has guided me to some cool experiences that I did not figure out the gap, right? The gap
Exactly.
just filled itself. But very recently, just in the last couple of weeks, somebody who I coach with, she's like, I feel like you're ready for something new. Like we need to adjust what's happening here because there's a gap with your own vision. And so
Yeah.
what came to me the other day was, oh, I'm hosting.
Right.
Oh, I'm not the guest. Oh, I'm hosting. I'm
Right.
facilitating this thing. And so for me, that's the vision. So for you, it's being in the house or having the house or
Mhm.
whatever that is for you and that feeling. For me, it's the feeling of being in that chair, shuffling the papers, having
Yeah.
a conversation with Jim Carrey. So that's my guest, Jim Carrey.
Awesome.
And so having a conversation with him and being there with the audience and we're all having like you and I are
Yeah.
having this right here is an expression of that, right? I'm
That's
getting to
right.
have a genuine conversation with you that's so much fun
Mhm.
and people listen, you know? So for me, that's what it is. For you, it's a house. For everybody listening, it's going to be their unique expression
Yeah.
of this.
I love
We
it
don't have to fill the
so
gap.
much. No, we don't. And thank you for that. And what I heard this morning, I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and they were saying the what and the why are my responsibility. The who and the how is the universe's responsibility.
Beautiful.
Right? I can do the what and why. I've got what and why all day long. But I don't need to focus on the gap. And I think that it's that shift of focusing on the gap is responsible, focusing on the gap is reasonable, it's reality, it's really like what's going to pull you back to earth, little lady, with your big plans and your big houses and all of your yappity yap yap, which is obviously not my voice. So there's this consistent realigning with the what and why and releasing of the who and how and reconnecting with what is my role in this today. And maybe my role in this today is to disempower some limiting beliefs. And
Mhm.
that's what narrows the gap.
Yeah. And we do that by focusing on the what it is that we the what and the why.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if you're in line with your vision, you're in line with your desires, then if when we're really focused there, then our desire to focus on these other serious, responsible, hardworky thing, it all goes away. I put a
Yeah.
post on on social media the other day that says something like, your job for the next few coming months is to focus on fun and effery. I won't say the word.
You can
Fun
say the
and
word.
effery. I
You can
can.
say the
Okay. Fun
word.
and
Yeah.
fuckery. Fun
Yep.
and fuckery, not stress and hustle. Like that is it. And
Yeah.
can you imagine? I just think about
Mm-hmm.
this, Wendy. If can you imagine a world where we all were focused on that? Can you
Yep.
imagine what all of us as conscious creators, the world that we
Yeah.
would create if every single one of us was like, that's not my responsibility. I'm
Right.
here to have a blast. We would create
Yep.
so many cool things. And so
Surprise and delight.
surprise and delight. And so I'm here and I recognize I'm a generator. This is actually my job. My
Yeah.
job is actually not to be focused in this place where we are in a world. I will admit, like, we are in a world that says you got to be responsible, you got to be this, you got to be
Mm-hmm.
this, work's got to be hard because that's how we've been creating. But if you're
Yeah.
seeing things differently, and if you're listening to this podcast, and if you're like, Wendy Harrop is my lady, let me just tell you, you are one of the leaders of this new
Yeah.
way of thinking,
Yeah.
and you're being called to it. And yeah, it's going to feel weird. It feels different. It feels not normal because it's not normal. But just
Mm-hmm.
because it's not normal doesn't mean that it's not good.
Right. For sure.
So I firmly believe that I do feel like we're living in the coolest time that we
Yeah.
could possibly be alive in. And I know it's very easy to look and see a lot of injustice and a lot of things that are going on. At the same time, we live in just the coolest time in human history. We know so
Yeah.
much about quantum mechanics. We know so much about manifestation. We
Yeah.
know so much about, like, there's all this cool stuff. We're not going to get into it about
Right.
water and the way that water
Yeah.
imprints and predicts the future. Like, very cool effing things, you guys. And all of us have the opportunity to really understand this and to consciously create a new, a whole new vibe that we're all moving from. And I just think it's cool. And I want to be part of that. I don't want to
Right.
be part of more stress and hustle and creating from
Mm.
responsibility and feeling like things need to be a popularity contest. Like, come with us. We are
Yeah.
having a good effing time.
Yeah, we are in the front of the plane. And
Yes.
like what you said at the beginning of your in your morning practice and you're focusing on the feelings. And I love that reminder. We're always talking on the podcast about listening to your body and like even when I was sharing like what I was afraid of, I felt it in my chest. It felt awful. My fear is not what felt awful. It was saying words that are so disconnected from what I know to be true. Like saying those limiting things out loud didn't make them more true. They made them more ridiculous. And It's like, no, I don't believe any of that. I believe that my knower is working and that I'm in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing in this world for me. And yes, there are ripple effects, but I am doing it for me. Absolutely. And our feelings, our emotions are our guidance system. And the reason that they're our guidance system is because they're personalized to us. And not everybody wants to host a late night show, which it will not be called the Jimmy Fallon show because you're Jennifer Liss. It will be the Jennifer Liss show. And not everybody wants a big house that apparently is very scary to heat. But I have a big house in a place that's very cold and I'm well versed in the heat. But the feeling about that is how we know. It's what resonance is. It's how we feel. And what I can say about my personal feelings when I think of a big house, because I'm all about a longer table and more guest rooms. That's what I'm here for, because that just means more people can come with me, which is what I want. I also get that same level of elation, which on a scale from 1 to 10 is a solid 32. It's high, high vibe. The same exact feeling comes when I see outside my window and I see beautiful change of seasons, or I'm driving Amelia to school, which she goes to this amazing, fantastic school that is just, she's essentially living the 12-year-old version of my life. She is in this beautiful place. It's on 10 acres. The drive there is past all of these gorgeous horse farms. I'm just saying, oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful. Ah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm at level 32 on the commute to school, which reminds me that my knower is working. And if I can level 32 while I'm driving to school, I can level 32 my way to a chateau in France because it's the
100%.
same road.
It's the same. Yeah. So I love what you just shared. I'm so curious. Can I ask you?
Yeah.
I'm curiosity, and then I want to share something with the audience that I think might be helpful. So that feeling for you of the long table and the multiple rooms, what do you feel in your body? What do you when you envision that, when you just take a big deep breath and you tune into this is what that long table and all these rooms, that means there's more people. Like, what does that feel like for you?
I have chills all over. I feel it first in my chest. It's just expansion, and then it moves like in deep, like into my root of, like, it feels grounded, it feels expansive, it feels the same way I feel about this house here, because this is a longer table and more guest rooms as well. I love that it's an invitation to linger. I love that it's people that are welcomed, anticipated, celebrated, and we're having such a great time. And there's that moment in a dinner party that comes with, uh, this has been so great, but we have a drive or we better get going. And to say, no, you don't have to go. You can stay. There's guest rooms and there'll be a new meal on this beautiful long table when you wake up. So it is an invitation to linger.
So beautiful. So you've got this expansion in your chest, this big sense of openness. When I'm going to say something else and call
Okay.
something else into your awareness. So when somebody says, but that house is so cold, how are you going to heat that house? Where do you feel that in your body? Where do you feel your response to that, to somebody saying something like that? It could be that, it could be something else like that, but those negative feelings, I promise we're not going to leave you here.
I know. It's interesting. I think that I used to feel them because I would get the same pushback when I wanted to move to New England from California. And it would feel like very much like a gut punch. And now I feel it in my head. Like I have a very logical response now because of my practiced experience. I'm going to turn the heat on.
Mm,
So the next one is, well, that's very expensive. I'm going to make more money. Oh,
hmm
well, how are you going to, by living in alignment? Like I have the answers now, and the way that honestly, I just heard this response about heating the giant house that I want, not about heating a giant house that I want. It was before this one came into my awareness. And my initial thought, like snap thought, was, oh, you're so cute. You're new. Like you don't know that the how is not my responsibility and I don't have to figure that out. And something like heat isn't what keeps me from my dreams because I already know that there's a solution. I live where it's cold and I hate my house. So,
yeah. Yeah, beautiful. So you've worked with
okay.
this part quite a bit. If somebody's new on their journey, like back
Mhm.
when you said, okay, well, before I was able to move to this, it was like this feeling in my gut. It
Yeah,
was
gut
there.
punch.
It was that gut punch. And so you've worked with it and you've worked through it a lot, but all of us have these for certain. Like if we don't have the thing that we've manifested yet, right? There's something beautiful that we get to release and move through and welcome more of. And often that will come with resistance in the body, like in the physical body that's
Yeah.
attached to a thought, because every thought that we have comes through a lens, comes through a perspective that then creates vibration that shows up as vibration as emotion in the body, right?
Yes.
So perspective lens that we look through creates a thought creates vibration shows up in the body, so we're just tracing that back. So those vibrations are things that will hold us back from stepping in because they're like slowing us down, right? Like we're speeding up and we're
Mhm.
moving into those high vibration things that are like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is so amazing. And then we have thoughts that slow us down, which is by design, that we're always toggling between. But when something is there, like the gut punch that is there, if we ignore it and if we bypass it, and if we just keep trying to come stay in the high vibe and we don't acknowledge that it's there and say, thank you so much, emotion, for being here. And if we don't witness it, then it's still there.
Yeah.
And it continues to come up and it continues to cycle. So one of the processes that I work with women through a lot, and specifically these days, I work with women in sales in their business. And so, which I think is one of the best self development opportunities, because if
It's
you go to sell something,
100%.
it's all going to come up. So,
Yep.
I have this program called Safe to Sell. I say, okay, go out, have a DM conversation with somebody, come tell me what's coming up in your body. And then we
Okay.
work through it. We
Yeah.
work through what's coming up physically in their body. We come
It's
up with
amazing.
the emotions. So this gut punch, and for anybody listening, like whatever the thing is that comes up for you, that it's like, okay, this is really awesome. But then when somebody says, well, where
Yeah.
are you going to heat the house? And you get this like in your
Yeah.
stomach, what we do is we go through this OATS process of you observe that thought, you observe the sensation, you observe the gut punch in your body. It's like, oh, there you are. And we name all feelings and emotions around it. We ask it, why have you arrived? Why are you
Mm,
here? Gut punch, sensation, emotion that is here for me, or feeling in your head, even like, why are you here? Why have you arrived? We get really non judgmental observation. Oh, observation, and then non judgmental curiosity. We
mm,
ask, and then we thank it. Thank you so much
mm.
for being here. Instead of being like, that icky emotion that keeps coming
Right.
up,
You
thank
jerk.
you. Yeah, you jerkwad. It's
Right.
like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I appreciate what you are
Mm,
trying to do because I've listened. I asked it, why are you here?
yeah.
And it said, well, everybody's gonna hate you, or you're gonna get cold, or you're
Mm,
gonna whatever the thing is that's coming up for you around it.
yeah.
So it comes up, like we can go back to that the conversation about the plane too. Like
Right.
other people are going to feel bad. You're going to make
Hmm.
other people who don't have that feel bad. That could be showing up as
Yeah.
some kind of tension in the body, right? So we
Hmm.
go and we have a conversation. I know it's weird, but we have a
Yeah.
conversation with physical sensation in the body. Think it. And then, Wendy, this is what you're so good at. You shift to the soul's perspective,
Mm,
because those
good.
emotions have come to you. We're going to back back the cat up here. Those emotions have come to you through a perspective, through a lens,
Yeah.
through some lens, had a thought that lifted, that put an emotion. Well, that lens is not you.
Right.
There's only one true lens, which is from your soul's perspective, from pure light, from pure possibility, from pure unicorn magic, I call it. That's what you are. So through the soul's perspective, you shift back to the soul's perspective and you say, thank you so much for showing up.
Right.
What do you need from me to take the lead? And
Yeah.
then you let the soul lead, and you're these parts that are here to protect you, these emotions that are showing up that are just like, I got something to say to you. They're like preschoolers that have a finger painting and they want to show you their beautiful finger painting
Right.
they have pressed into your body. Like they want you to see it. And so when you see it, they're like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get on this train. Let's go. And they're
Yeah.
so much more likely to come with you when we've witnessed them. But what I see, and we might have heard this as spiritual bypassing, we will bypass the emotions, but
Right.
you can't bypass them. They will just keep cycling until you look at their finger paintings. And
Exactly.
but we don't collapse into them either, which is a lot of times what we do. We collapse into our emotion. We think we are the emotion. You're not the
Yeah.
emotion. You're a soul who came here who's having this really magical human experience. So that OATS process has been so transformative
Yeah.
for myself, for my clients. When we in that final step of shifting to your soul's perspective is absolutely everything, because otherwise you're looking through the lens of all these perspectives you've gained
Right.
through your life, which are not you.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. That was so generous. Thank you, Jen. I have one question about that. So, separating the person saying it from the emotion that we're feeling, because for me, in
Mm,
my practice of this consistently shifting perspective, I can see that my bypass is I'm going to discount that person as not knowing what I'm capable of. So having them leave my experience with their low vibe energy. What did they know? And forget that I had that experience and feeling that in my body where I felt it, because that is also my highest self showing me what needs attention. So I can't be in the practice of discounting the comment and the person, that there is a responsibility. Obviously, something in me is responding to this comment, and
yes,
I do need to be available for what that healing looks like so that I can shift it, so that I can
exactly.
do the work that I'm here to do, which is
I'll
also
tell
the
you why.
healing work. Tell me.
I'll tell you why. People show up. This is from a mentor of mine, the wonderful Peter Crone. So this is
Yes.
not my idea, but it changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
The universe, God, will present you with people, circumstances, and situations to help you release the
Mm-hmm.
constraints with which you arrived.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, say it again, please.
the
It's
universe
like
will,
all over me. Say it.
it will present you with people, circumstances, and opportunities to reveal within you the constraints. The constraint within you already exists. That constraint is there. The people in your life
Mm.
are beautiful
Yeah.
opportunities that are revealing the constraint. We could call that a trigger. You can call it whatever. They are revealing
Mm.
a when we are in relation to somebody comes, like we have a relationship, we are in relation to each other. We reveal things within each other. We reveal the light. We also reveal the triggers, like you revealed in me. Oh, victimhood,
Mhm.
Jen. Like you came into my life and you revealed that to me. Was that a little bit icky? Yeah. Could I have just discounted and been like, Wendy and her like highfalutin life? Like I sure could have, right? Like I could have discounted that. I could have brushed it off, but
Yeah.
I had the self-awareness to see,
Yeah.
oh, this has arrived for me.
For
It's for
me.
me so that I
Mhm.
can release the constraint that by no fault of your own, it has come to you. And it has come to you by your soul's choice, because your soul chose all these experiences that gained all these constraints, right? Like, so the people are a gift.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is and what they're like, that they're revealing what is already there. So even when we fall in love with somebody, what we're actually falling in love with is the mirror that they hold up for us,
Yeah.
because we're falling in love with ourselves. So when you fall in love, you're falling into the love of which you already are. So then, opposite of that, when somebody shows up and they reveal something else, it's like, oh, they're revealing something else for me to see. So that's our relation to other people, is this beautiful mirror, which is not always easy to look at. And sometimes we're not ready to look at it. And that's okay too. That's okay too. So that's what I would say to that. And when we go to bypass something, it's like, well, they're giving you a gift. It's your
Right.
chance, like your choice, whether you want to unwrap that gift right now or
Well,
not.
right. And you can bypass totally, and it'll get bigger.
It'll start like,
It
it's like
will,
my finger painting.
yeah, it will keep coming, and it'll bring its friends. So I can attend to all of this now or later,
Yeah.
but it's not going to go away. And I
It won't go
just
away.
no, and I'm so grateful for you, Jennifer, for your beautiful wisdom and for your friendship and for your commitment to yourself and to me to not bypass my bypass. So thank you. I appreciate you and I love you, and I am so honored to be on this journey with you.
I'm likewise through and through. I would not be the same person who I am today without Wendy Harrett being in my life. And I appreciate you and love you so much. And I love that you share this wisdom of what you are with the world through this podcast, because lives are changed, my own life included.
Mm, I love you so much, and it's completely reciprocal. So thank you. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can work with you and be in your magic unicorn sparkly goodness all the time.
The very best thing that you can do if you're curious to find out. So I primarily work with people, helping them to fuck around and get paid. That's what I'm all about. And so my soul came here to have a lot of fun. And I know that money is going to help us to get that first class ticket to wherever we're going. So go to jenliss.com/quiz, take my quiz if you want to find out how you can F around and get paid. And that's the best way to connect with me.
It's beautiful. We will definitely link that in the show notes. Thank you, sweet Jen. As always, I love any bit of time I get with you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.